When I was 13, I had babysat for my nephew a whole bunch, and I never complained about it. I never charged my sister to do it, nothing like that. So she wanted to do something nice for me. So she thought, I'm about 12, 13 years old, so she thought it would be nice if she took me shopping and I could pick out a couple outfits that I liked, pick out my own clothes. So um, we took the bus. We lived in Chicago. We took the bus and we went to, I forget the name of that store.
What year was this?
Robert Hall, that was it.
Well, what year was this?
Shoot. 60 something, 65, 66. Anyway, so we go to the store and I found a sweater and some pants I liked. I think that's all that I had her buy me. So we're coming home on bus and there's this lady who I guess was about, I'd say late 40s, early 50s. She had like flaming red hair. And she kept staring at me and shit, which I ignored her. I'm looking out the window and stuff. My sister was sitting across from me, so she had her back to this lady. And so anyway, she says, I know who you are. I know what you are. And all this stuff. And I'm like, what the heck? I look up, she's standing by my seat on the bus. I'm like, can I help you with something? She goes, you killed Christ. You Christ killer, you dirty, filthy Christ killer. And I'm like, what, do I got a sign on me that says I'm a Jew? Kick me in the ass or something, And so, yeah, I'm a kid, what am I supposed to... I was scared of her because she was, mental,
Hey, do you remember that crazy bitch at KFC?
Yeah.
I'll tell that one.
Yeah, one time I took Asher, went out to eat for KFC or whatever, and it just happened to be a Sunday, right? Where they got that all-you-can-eat thing or whatever. So,
they have that every day.
Yeah,
it's the barbecue chicken one.
It's the barbecue chicken one.
I don't know if they do that anymore.
So anyway, we decided, we'd do the barbecue chicken. So, we got our plates stuffed with whatever we wanted, stuff. We go sit at our table. And I was facing, my back would be towards the majority of the room. And Asher would be like where he could see everybody in the room and they could see. So anyway, there was this lady sitting at a table, a couple tables over or something. She kept staring at him and junk. And she was mad at him because she thought he was staring at her. And he wasn't staring at her. It's just he was chewing his food, and every time he would lift his head up, it would look maybe like he's looking at her, but he's not really looking at her, So she gets all offended. She's freaking out, And I'm just let's hurry up and eat and get out of here, And
remember that one time we were at Taco Bell and the guy threw his tray across the room and almost hit that chick in the head? Because we talked about the Chinese economy growing. And he picks up the tray and throws it across the room and storms out of there cussing and shit. And then the manager, who I'm kind of acquaintances with, he says, what the fuck was all that about? And I said, I mentioned China. And he was just like, what?
For one, why is he eavesdropping on your conversation?
Because we sat right next to the guy, unfortunately.
Yeah. But we're not big, loudmouth people.
Well, people can't... Okay, do you remember those guys at Kroger planning an orgy with their wives?
Yeah.
They didn't even buy anything. Don't do that, Luke. Yeah,
I know.
But no, seriously, you remember that?
Yes. Those ugly old men.
What about the girl fucking the wine bottle over there?
That I didn't see. You did. I didn't.
Yeah, what about the guy beaten off by the chicken?
I didn't see that.
They got that chicken heater thing. Yeah, well, alright. It's just you're the one on camera. I don't feel like telling the stories.
Well, I know. There's nuts people everywhere, Ash. Jeez.
But don't you think
it's like time we went at IGA, remember that old lady?
But Mom, don't
bananas?
you rather think that there's more crazy people than usual where we live? 48% of the population here are convicted felons. 1 in 3 people have schizophrenia. That's according to Dr. Blank. I'm not going to mention his name. Dr. Blank. He's a neurologist. I'm not going to say his name. Dr. Blank. Yeah, he said that they're, and then my sister got blah blah, my honor blah blah, and that's like that faggy dude over there. I'm LGBT, so I can say that. There's this really faggy guy who was over there, and he was saying all this stuff, and I said, you know, about those guys over there planning an orgy with their wives and shit. It was making everyone uncomfortable, and everyone just packed up their shit and got the fuck out of there. And he's like, if they want to screw me. And I said, first of all, these guys are fundamentalist Christians, and they're old men. They don't want to fuck you. They're actually very anti-gay. I highly recommend watching the movie Bruno. And during the orgy sequence, listen to the commentary with Sacha Baron Cohen and the writer and the director of the film. Because they're going to talk about kind of the behind the scenes of that. Like, they said that they couldn't understand. I mean, these were, like, really religious people. They were Republicans. They were, like, Southern, really conservative. But yet, those are the kind of people who do this activity. These are the kind of guys who do the methamphetamine. These are the kind of guys who sell the drugs. These are the kind of guys that do the hate crimes. These are the kind of people that do the swingers orgies. Is that kind of people. Or do you remember those guys that when he went hunting or whatever and they just sat there and they didn't talk or anything? I've been through that, where the people just sat around, don't talk, and 3 hours later of just not saying anything, one guy says masturbation, penetration, and a shower.
Whatever.
Do you remember Amy did that and gave that guy a green sock and they all took turns with her?
I don't know. You told me about it, that's all I know.
God, you sure want to be detached from this conversation all of a sudden.
Well, you know, the people here are weird to me.
They are weird. When I went to Springfield, people were so fucking nice there.
I just stay in my corner.
You know, there wasn't all this fucking crime. I mean, per population density, the crime in Springfield's pretty average. You know, and then when you come here, per population density, when you go up there to Springfield, out of like 100,000 women or something like that in this country, like 50 of them have been sexually assaulted, which is pretty low compared to how it used to be. And then when you look at like DUIs and felons and shit, out of 100,000 people, it's like 150. Then when you come to Taylorville, per 8,000 people, which is all the people that live in the town we live in, it's like, what was the number? It was like, whatever it was, we rounded it off and it came out to 48% of the population were felons. Mm-hmm. And that coincided with what the mayor said, and that coincided with what the police chief said. I don't remember the numbers. I don't want to say it wrong because I'm not in front of a computer, but it's something like whatever the population was, it came out to 48%. And these are the kind of people where it's like Heather puts her head in my lap when a cop drives by, and she looks up at me and says, "Is he gone?" I said, "Is who gone?" And she says, "The cop, is he gone?" I said, "Yeah, he's gone. What the fuck is wrong with you?" You know, I mean, look, if you did do something wrong, you know, the reason why you get arrested and the reason why cops jump you is because they're trained to do that. You know, if a cop drives by and then you start running from him, he's going to go after you because he knows you did something wrong. If you did something wrong, don't fucking run from the guy. What are you, stupid? I'm not giving advice or anything. I'm just saying, a lot of criminals are really stupid fucking people. You know? They leave their prints everywhere. The cops drive by, you know? Anyway, yeah, the Christ killer shit. And do you remember that there were those cult people at Chili Festival that one year? Mm. Yeah. Come on, have some emotion, man. Be serious. I know you're tired and everything right now.
There are these guys...
Alright, we're running out of time. We'll talk about it later. Hey, put your finger in the middle of the lens. Say later, bro.
Later, bro.